Today we're going to talk about an easy lockup kit, and behind me is a 2007 model 200 series. We're going to hit the beach very shortly, and I'm going to explain to you guys our low speed and high speed lockup, the functionality, what it does and how it all works. Come for a ride. We've got the car in stock mode at the moment and we're going to travel along the soft sand. The good thing is to show you guys a comparison of a stock standard car and then when we've added our tune, also with our easy lockup function kit into it. I'm going to dialogue and show you some temperature issues and some issues that I've found when driving on the beach and why the low speed lockup and the extra power really does help you. So we're going to go through this now and I'll start to make my way up here. And we're probably going to do about, I'd say, around about a 10-minute drive up here. Doing the drive for around 10 minutes is really going to give us enough chance to get a lot of heat soak into it and show you, where the heat is with that. So we'll get moving now. And so all I've got at the moment is, I'm driving the soft sand. Yes, I don't have my tyres let down. That's a big no-no when driving on the beach, but I really wanted to, show the extra load that we have. But if you imagine coming up on this beach at the moment and, you're in soft sand, you're towing a caravan, it's high tide, you need to get back, or you're getting stuck wherever you're situated on the beach and you really need to start traveling on that soft sand, it's definitely not ideal to have the car in the standard form without a lockup and maintain heat and get you out of trouble, basically. I mean, look, driving on the hard sand on the beach is extremely easy. It's like driving on the road, but however, maintaining that constant speed on the soft sand with load on is extremely hard. And as you can see, so I'm just going to quickly stare down and have a look. And already we're up at 88 degrees in our coolant temperature. And believe it or not, our transmission fluid's around 93 already. We've only just been going for a few minutes now, so it's pretty crazy that it's already at this sort of temperature. Engine temp's at 90 now, 91, transmission's at 95. And so we're doing around about 40 k's an hour. I'm pretty much buried at the moment. My foot's flat to the floor. I'm doing around about that 40 to 45 k's an hour, nearly 50 k's an hour. I'm really starting to push. My temperature is getting up there now. Transmission's at 98, engine's at 94. Okay, so that's much of the smooth stuff. So even now I'm just coming onto the harder stuff. I just clicked up a gear and I'm doing that sort of now 50 kilometers an hour. And the transmission temp's 100 degrees. It's crazy. I've only just been going literally under 5 minutes now. So look, I really don't want to be driving this car too much more at this temperature. We're now both creeping on that sort of just under that 100 degree mark, 98 degrees on both. Still maintaining 46 k's an hour, but we're really pushing it, And this is a car with no weight in it. It's stock standard. There's literally no weight. All right, so look, I'm just going to pull up here. I'm just literally going to come onto the hard stuff. So just having a quick look at what just happened then. The car, dead standard, driving along the beach, not using anything other than just the power of the car. The Centeloxian tyres haven't been, let down or anything like that. So stock form, there's definitely things you could do to improve that, like letting your tyres down and so forth. But having a look at the temperatures here, high tide, we've been driving for, not very long time. It's actually only been, it's under 5 minutes of driving, and the temperature of the transmission's already at that 100 degree mark, and the engine temp's around that 98. If we keep on traveling a little bit further, you find 10 minutes down the road we're going to be overheating. We can't get to that point where we stabilize. It's just going to get hotter and hotter. So what we're going to do is going to go back. We're going to do the exact same trip that we just did with our tune in it, but also our easy lockup. And I'm going to show you how the low speed lockup works, the functionality around that, and the reasons why you need this in a 200 series or an 80 moving forward. Okay, so we've just done the standard run, come back. I've loaded in the easy lock tune into the transmission, as well as a engine, power tune file that we've created down at Just Autos. So we're going to go do this run again. Starting off at the moment, temperature wise, we're at 83 degrees coolant temp, and our trans temp has dropped down on the way back on the hard stuff to around 65 degrees. I'm going to go through this now and give an understanding of basically how the low speed lockup works. So what I've done, I've engaged second gear start, which is by pushing second gear start, and there it is, it comes up on the dash. When I travel now, I use this on soft sand up the beach, especially in this situation right now. I'm going to put it into sports mode so I can hold a gear. I really like the feel of having to hold a gear. If you leave it in drive, you tend to want to shift up and shift down depending on the load, because the load changes massively on the beach between the soft stuff, where you're turning, the rutting, everything else in between. So it's something that I believe that, you know, should be done this particular way. I find that this is the best way that I find works. So once we get up to 45, around that kilometers an hour, the converter is going to lock in, and once it locks in, it will not unlock until we're under 38 kilometers an hour. So no matter what happens, gear changes up and down, it will always stay in that particular lockup mode. So the only things that will disable it is if we push the button off ourselves, or we get under that 38 kilometers an hour. Now we're going to cruise up here now, and we're just going to see what goes on. So now, cruising along, I'm recording my data log screen at the moment just to give you guys an understanding of where we're at, because I can't do two things at once. So we're going to try and maintain much the same speed as what we were. So I'm in second gear at the moment, and we're doing a 2.5 grand and about 50 kilometers an hour. The converter is locked in, which is working quite well. And as you can see already, the temperatures are pretty stable. Like, you know, we've only just started taking off, but before, when we started getting along, they were getting up there. So engine coolant temps at 86 degrees still. We'll go on the soft spot now, but back on the soft. So you can see there, do about 48 kilometers an hour. Made a rookie error leaving the traction control on. It's a little bit of a pain when driving on soft sand. I definitely like to disable that completely. Makes it a lot more pleasurable to drive. So as you can see, our coolant temp has got up, it's around about 93 degrees, but look at our trans temp, it's 68 degrees. You know, we're coming up to our end point here. We'll just keep going a little bit further. So the thing is here is that the difference is that because the converter is now locked, I can travel in second gear, which gives me definitely a better ratio to drive through the soft stuff. But also with the converter locked, if the converter was unlocked, you know, I'm in that sort of third gear unlocked state that little period of time. So as you can see, coolant temps got up there, 98 degrees, but our trans temp is now 71 degrees. And we're actually at that spot right now where we were before. So interesting enough, our trans temp has dropped down. That's, you know, we were 100 degrees before. So there's 29 degrees difference in temperature just in that trans there. Obviously this engine has no cooling effect, it's got no thermo fans on it or anything like that. Today it's quite a coolish day, so you know, you can see if you can't maintain this temperature for a long period of time. Pretty amazing with the lockup in, cruising on the beach, second gear, roughly 50 k's. You know, our transmission is around that. You know, it was, I think I'll just go through the log and see what our temperature was. Look at that, like our maximum temp that we got in our transmission was around 70 degrees. That's a 30 degree decrease in temperature just by locking the converter, so that's a massive difference. So this is the easy lock part of the 200 series model, so it does all the 200 series range. This is obviously coupled with our tune that has it in at the moment. You can have this easy lock without an engine tune. You can just have it as a trans tune and have a lockup if you don't want that, and that's perfectly fine. It has high speed lockup. High speed lockup, the only difference between the low speed and high speed, when we activate that, we use the power button. Once you get over that 95 k's an hour, the converter stays locked in, and same rules apply. Anything above that, the converter will always stay locked in. It will never come out unless you get under the 85k, so the 10k threshold, and then it'll unlock. If you put in low speed, it obviously overwrites the high speed, and so forth. With both buttons out, the car is 100% back to factory, using factory lockup, factory everything that has with the car. It uses, you know, everything that same particular way. There's no differences there. So now we're just getting on the highway. We're just going to go through what high speed is. So as you can see, driving the car in normal mode at the moment, no power button on, no second gear start, nothing like that. Driving along, and as you can see, everything is pretty well like factory. Our converter's not locked in at all, and we're reaching 100 Ks, and our converter's still not locked in. We're cruising along at the moment, and you'll find that factory form very similar to a lot of the Toyota range. As you start to breeze on the throttle, the converter will unlock. The problem here is that you can definitely do that with software where you can hold the converter in longer. The difference is that when you apply, more throttle in, you'll get it to kick back down a gear, the converter will unlock, and then it's going to go through the whole process again. And it can feel a little bit unsettled, and that's something we found with our first version. And a lot of people were like, hey, we want it to be in all the time. So, that's why we listened to them, and we've come up with this version 2 that we have. So, obviously now pushing the power button in, and as you can see, as a reduction in RPM, we're cruising along at the moment, 1600 RPM. We're doing about 100 Ks, driving along quite nicely. And as you can see, we're going to come up to a rise at the moment. Now, obviously I don't have a camera on the back at the moment, but if you do tour with your 200 series, which I've done a lot of time with that 200 and getting a really good understanding of what it needs and what the problems are, you'll see as you're cruising along, they tend to hum without the converter being locked in. It's the converter locking in, unlocking, locking in, unlocking out. And so, even when we've got the slightest of inclines, it'll have that. And my 200 series, when it was in factory form, even unladed with nothing on the back, it would hunt for that gear as well. It's pretty hard for you guys to see this hill, but it is a hill coming down into Nambour. It's quite steep, but we're maintaining that speed. The converter's still locked in, it's not coming out, and we're holding that gear all the way up the hill. And that's exactly what it's like when you have a van or weight on the back. You may, depending on the size of it, if you're in that big category area, you may find that you'll have to come down a gear. But however, you will stay with the converter locked in unless you get under that set speed, which is 85 kilometers an hour. The fact that I'm over that now, that converter will stay locked in all the time unless I take the power button off or go under that set speed. So that's our high speed. It's really simple. You can't stuff it up. You can push the buttons for second gear start, which is our low speed lockup, and our power button as much as you want, whenever you want. And there's nothing you can do that's going to be wrong in operation. We've set it up so it's foolproof for that. Look, it's pretty simple from here. If you have any questions or queries, please, like I said before, get onto our guys. That's what they're there for. Give them a buzz. They'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions about the products we have and that we can offer you for the 200 series. To ensure you guys have a safe and reliable tour of Australia or whatever you're planning on doing with your car. So get in touch. We'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.